That's a date. When you come to California, you have to let me know, okay? I'm
Yes,
gonna take you to
yes.
Abby's.
Hi
Yes.
everyone! Woo! Nag-clap na agad. Tapos the show is done. No, just kidding. Hi everyone, my name is Adrian Pangilinan, and welcome back to Soul Supremacy Season 3. Oh, we made it to Season 3, where we talk about all things unapologetic, all things passion, and in pursuit of. And for today, we have Philippines' finest beauty queen, sexy actress, Maria Isabel Lopez. How are you, madam? Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Adrian. It's so good to finally make it to Soul Supremacy, and congratulations on season 3. So exciting.
Salamat.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also to just wanting to point out that this format is very just kind of like open book. Our lovely guest over here, there you go. It's an open book herself. And I've actually just learned to become more relaxed about the format because when we started the show, I was very like talk show host. I had my phone asking like questions to the point. But you know what? There's something that I realized in connecting, like visceral real life conversations with people, even though it's just virtually. There's something in that you don't get by sticking necessarily to the script. While that's the case, we do have a structure that we're going to follow, but I'm open to break it, bale.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's make this like free flowing.
Yes. Very, very conversational because to actually like being the producer also of my own podcast, I do listen to it to also take notes on how I'm doing. And then I actually have more so enjoyed the episodes where it just literally feels like we're having a conversation. Like as we've known each other as if we've known each other for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of quality. So before we get started, everyone, I wanted to read her bio and it disappeared off my phone. Hold on. Let's see. It's on Wikipedia. Okay. And I had her permission to read this. If I can pull it up. See, madam, this is where I do the edits, like long pauses and awkward.
You must have done your homework.
I did, but it disappeared.
Uh,
My excuse. Okay. So our lovely guest over here, Madame, I call her Madame because clearly she is. Maria Isabel Lopez, also known as Maria Isabel Pagunsan Lopez, is a Filipina movie and television actress. Lopez was the Bini Bining Pilipinas Universe 1982 holder and represented the Philippines in the 31st Miss Universe pageant in Lima, Peru.
yes, that was 40 years ago, hosted by Bob Barker of The Price is Right.
Rest in peace, diba?
Yeah.
Si Don yeah, I grew up watching him. So I just wanted to point out that actually, by the time you're watching this episode, it is literally her 40th anniversary as the title holder for Bini Bining Pilipinas Universe 1982. 40 years ago now in 2022. What are your thoughts about that?
Uh, Life
40
goes.
years?
Yeah, 40 years. It just shows clearly that when you're a beauty queen, you're always a beauty queen. And people like, remember you in 1982, and they expect you to still look the same 40 years after. And Filipinos will always say that, oh, she has aged. Oh, she's like, it's been a long time ago. But that's the celebration of life. There's
Mm-hmm.
no standstill. You keep going forward. So to me, I'm so proud that I made it this far, and I continue to be the same person 50 years after, 60 years after. And that's the time I will go back to your 20-year-old podcast.
Yeah. you know actually from what I've known, I aren't you one of the because from what I've seen with a lot of beauty queens, beauty pageants, like I think you're one of the longest running in terms of like career wise. Like I think you've really been able to like like have a really
Stretch.
really stretched
Stretch,
marks,
yes.
long lasting career, and you don't seem to be stopping at all.
Well, they say beauty queens, they come and go. We have so many beauty queens that has been forgotten.
Yes.
And even if you are like, you're a beauty queen and you make such great story this year, you made it to the Miss Universe pageant as a runner up or as a
Mm.
people can easily forget because there's always a new girl being crowned every year.
Yes.
So if you do a career like in show business, the formula here is not popularity; it's more longevity.
Mm.
So if you notice, like it's not just me. There are like many beauty queens that lasted in the industry, like Gloria Diaz.
Oh yes, her too.
Like
Yeah,
of
yeah, yes,
course,
yeah,
we still have Melody Marquez, and they're still very
yes.
much around. Yeah, but I would say it's not just the popularity; it's the longevity, and it's not an easy thing to achieve. You have to continually reinvent yourself.
Yes. In which I actually want to ask you eventually in our interview because, like, you, wow, I'm speechless. You made a joke earlier about how you're probably the oldest person that I've interviewed here. And in that
Yes,
aspect, yes.
yes,
And
I believe so.
yes. And also, too, like, this is not at all, like, Kemi or whatever, but I've always wanted to have someone that that has lived a long life on the show because then it's almost like a master class or even just like a form of like, hey, may I please ask some advice on maybe how I could, live my life because you've, been able to live such a fruitful and long life,
Yeah, like the saying goes in the Philippines, like, in Tagalog, papunta ka pa lang doon, nakasampung balik na ako. You're
Oh,
just trying to get to your destination. I have already done so many round trips.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the wisdom and such, in which I'm really excited again to get in this interview. But actually, let me continue reading her bio because I never finished. Oh gosh, it disappeared again. Hold on. What is up with? Oh wait, Wikipedia. I It keeps disappearing on Wikipedia.
So anyway, I'm engaged 3 times and married twice.
Wow.
Mhm.
Sana all, but charbe lang. No. 10 years, 10 years single over here, and I'm proud. Really, really proud, actually. Okay, so actually, let me finish reading her bio. So, like what I mentioned earlier, our guest over here, Miss Maria Isabel Lopez, was the Bini Bining Pilipinas Universe 1982 title holder and represented the Philippines in the 31st Miss Universe pageant in Lima, Peru, 40 years ago now, as we speak. Next, she became controversially known as a Filipina beauty queen. It says here, beauty queen acting on sex in film. And like what she just mentioned too, Lopez was previously married to a Japanese national, Hiroshi Yokohama, later annulled, and then now she is married to the love of her life, Jonathan Melrod, here in the United States.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Is
live
that
kasi
correct?
naman. Yeah, that's
Wikipedia,
correct.
are you correct?
I got married in 2019, 6 months before we had the pandemic.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm based now in Sonoma County. And my husband is watching right now.
Hi.
Hi, Jonathan. I want to say a brief hi to Jonathan. And
Yes.
it's a blessing to find love again and become Mrs. Melrod. So I'm going to talk about more on family life and my husband
Yes.
later on. Yeah, and then about me being a sexy actress. After before winning the pageant, do you know how I was discovered as a beauty queen?
Um,
I was modeling for a sexy modeling group known as Gerard Peter Models. Of course, you won't
mm.
find this in the internet
I
because
saw no, I did see it on your the trivia. I saw it on your trivia on IMDb.
yeah, if you're a Gerard Peter model, you do something like Moulin Rouge, Lido de Paris type of show where
Mm,
there's like some
yes.
breast exposure. We
Mm,
wear swimsuits, lingeries, bikinis on stage, and although it's a very artistic show, it became
yes.
like an entertainment for men, and
Mm,
that's how this fashion designer saw me, spotted me, and asked me to join the pageant. And then I told him, how am I gonna win? Because I'm modeling for this called modeling group, sexy modeling group. You know, in the Philippines, we have so many guardian of morals. 1980 was the year that the first Filipina modeled for Playboy, Techi Agbayani. And then
Oh.
the sexy films are like proliferating in the country, and then sexy fashion shows, it's like an entertainment for men, like people who are trying to close business deals. Businessmen would bring their clients to the show and, like, kind of like distract them to get that signed contract. And that's how I was spotted. So when I won the title, I became like very controversial, because never in the history of the very decent Binibining Pilipinas pageant was there a woman modeling topless on stage, and that
Mhm.
was me.
Mm.
So when I won, the Viva Films, one of the top producer of films in the country, um, contracted me with a four-picture contract, and the packaging was that of a sexy actress.
Wow.
And then, of course, the Binibining Pilipinas Charities, the organizer of the pageant, was so furious. They didn't want me to do sexy films. They think it will tarnish the reputation of the already tarnished reputation anyway.
Yeah.
So I was also offered to do a whiskey commercial. It's a well-known whiskey commercial in the country called White Castle Whiskey.
Oh
And
yes.
every year,
Yeah, I've
they
heard of it.
choose one woman to model the whiskey riding a white horse in a red bikini. So
Mhm.
again, the Binibining Pilipinas Charities told me, don't do that commercial. Don't do that commercial. Don't wear a bikini. But of course, I had always been a rebel beauty queen, so I would still
Mm.
do what I want. Of course, I have to make a living. You cannot survive and cannot eat with just a trophy, you know? You,
Kulang na lang kagatin mo yung trophy.
yeah. So
Wow.
you endorse a whiskey commercial, so it caters again to men. And
Mm.
that's how the packaging of Maria Isabel Lopez started.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know what? Okay. I love that we went there because in this interview, we're gonna try to. Well, I mean, in the hour and a half that we will do this, we can only cover so much. But I'm really glad that you touched up on it. Um, I guess I'm gonna ask now. Where where did you get like? So you mentioned that you grew up rebellious. You know, and I mean, I'm actually the same way too. And I think a lot of times artists, people who are creative, we're rebels. We definitely push
Yes.
the norm, push the envelope, um, push the needle forward. Where do you think that comes from? Your sense of self, like
My
where the
angst.
your
My
angst,
angst,
your
the
je ne
passion.
sais quoi. There you go.
Okay, I was born in Cagayan de Oro, Mindanao. I was raised in Manila, in the impoverished town of Balik-Balik, Sampaloc, Manila. Balik-Balik is a place where there's so many gangs. We have the Sputnik gang, the Sige Sige gang. For those people listening who are not from the Philippines, these are gangs that they have like Pana, the Sumpit, the
Mhm.
gang wars, and it's near a railroad station. So just to give
Mm.
you an idea, so balik-balik girls like are known to be fighters. You live in an impoverished area. We're known to be survivors, and I'm proud to be raised in balik-balik, because I wouldn't have this fire in me, the desire to alleviate my my financial situation. I wouldn't have the passion to be a fighter if I wasn't like in an environment like this. Because growing up, if I walk to school because my parents can't afford to get a school bus. They cannot afford to pay for a school bus service. So I walk to school. In that walk to school every day, as a growing up girl, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, I encounter so many men, boys trying to like humiliate you, being a woman, trying to whistle. They make you bastos, or like
Mhm.
they're disrespectful. They ogle at their eyes on you, and then that happened until I was in high school, walking to school every day in balik-balik. So every day was a struggle. Shall I take this alley so that there will be less men? Shall I take this road, the shortcut, or shall I take the long cut? But there will be like it's like a less it's a safer neighborhood taking the
Mhm.
long cut. So those are
Yeah.
everyday battles I face. Like some guys will follow me on the way home and talk to me, at a young age. Growing up, this has been happening. So the battle started at a young girl. So I was
Mm.
molded to always protect myself being a girl growing up,
To be an
growing a woman.
empowered
Yes.
woman.
Yes. So in other words, the training started early. And I
Yeah.
owe it to being a balik-balik girl to get me into the mindset. I was groomed for bigger battles. So when I became a beauty queen, I realized there were more monsters outside balik-balik, even if they live in places like Forbes Park, the
Yes,
more expensive
mansions.
area,
Yes.
you know.
They
Uh,
hide in nice, they hide
there's a
in
Godzilla out
yes.
there.
It's really interesting that you shared that because I part of my research, there you go, I read that you fought. You fought to be after you won um the title in the Philippines, you actually still had to fight because they tried to
They tried
challenge
to
to
strip
take
me
it
of
away,
my
right?
crown.
Yeah,
Yes.
because of who
And
you are and
it's because of morality grounds.
mm,
They think I wasn't worthy. They think I was like immoral. And they thought that, because if you look at the track record of the former Miss Philippines, they come from mostly like the buen de familia. They come from like, very good exclusive schools, like Gloria Diaz, like, a lot of them like come from like very decent family with Pitoy Moreno as the advisor. You know how the late Pitoy Moreno, the designer, like he's like the advisor for Binibining Pilipinas Charities, and he is like very elitista. That's why I became like this. I'm so anti-elitista because let's give everybody a fair chance. I did not ask to win. The judges made me win. So why should I surrender my crown? They say it's if you give up your crown after all the scandals, I will appear like a hero. I said, I did not ask for a title. They gave it to me. So it's like a gift given to you. Why should you give it back?
yes.
I earned it.
Yes.
So in other words, it was a crown here, but it kept falling off. It kept falling off. So I have to struggle to
Someone
keep it
or literally
upright
people keep trying to
and like
like
keep my head up, like I'm dancing pandango de ilaw.
yes, I've done that dance actually.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is my crown over here.
Oh, nice. So,
Sak muna, tapos it's
uh,
still in the process of it becoming
mhm.
gold.
Yeah, it's always been you already won the title and you still have to fight to keep the title. So
Yes.
that's how my life has always been. Yeah. But that was looking back, I'm more at a phase now where I'm like harvesting. It's harvest season.
Yeah, it's really crazy that we are now able to look back at that part of your journey 40 years ago.
Mhm.
Where I guess what I want to ask is where did you get your strength? Like where well I mean of course you shared it earlier with how you grew up, but at that time, at that moment in time, what were your thoughts exactly when they tried to take it away from you? Like what was going through your mind and how did you what did you get the strength to keep fighting?
You know, these questions are being asked every now and then, and it's like I have to answer a common answer. It's always the strength of the spirit in me. My
Mm,
awareness on spirituality came early in the 20 when I was in my early 20s
amen.
because I was like probably one of those people who dwelt on the new age thought,
Mhm.
on the power of the universe. I was part of this spiritual movement where I was doing
Mhm.
artworks for them. I'm a fine arts graduate.
Mm,
Until finally, instead of doing the artworks, I told them, let's just do an X deal. Let me just join the sessions. So I would say spirituality came early, the awareness that there's a power within much stronger. In other words, we're a spirit in a body and not a body with a spirit.
Mm.
So I would say that the awareness and the strength came from day to day challenges. And to get the strength, you need to tap on a higher power. It's a very common answer, but I cannot give any other answer because it's the truth and
Hmm.
it's a proven thing in terms of my life.
It's I mean, actually, it's I think what makes it not common is coming from your experiences. Diba? Like you're backing it up with your lived experiences, and I think that's really beautiful.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
I remember there were times when I became a sexy model. Those were the times in my life when I can afford to finally ride the taxi because otherwise you
Mm,
commute by jeepney. So when I go
yeah.
to the fashion show venue, I ride the taxi. And when I know the meter was running so fast and it's not the right meter, I
Hmm.
would like fight with the taxi driver. Yeah, but before I fight with the taxi driver, I equip myself. I call the son of the mayor of Manila, who's watching the fashion show regularly, and
Oh,
tell
wow.
him, you have to come down and tell your men because this taxi driver is ripping me off. So
Wow.
when my taxi driver arrives to my destination, I give him just the exact amount. So
Hmm.
instead of giving him the fare, which is 150 pesos, I give him 50 pesos. This is the right amount. Of course, he's gonna fight back with me, but I already have a backup.
Wow.
that's that's how I was fighting, even with it's just like not so big money, but it's the principle that I don't want to be cheated. You
Yes.
know, then he cannot like do that to people. Yeah, so every day was just like a battle that you face in life. Yeah. And I learned to face those battles. I really don't escape from it. Like some people, when there are challenges, they resort to drugs, alcohol, or other entertainment to
Hmm.
forget. Me, I don't. I confront it heads on.
Wow.
Heads on. I don't like to escape. This is the reality, and there's a lesson to be learned from it.
Yes. So then and there, you are looking at a challenge. Let's say na you have a mirror in front of you, and you have to tell yourself something. What is that thing that you would tell yourself as you're ready to face on that challenge? What would you tell that person?
Um, I
Kaya mo
there's
be, kaya mo box. That's me.
I don't have to say that, Adrian, because I already know na kaya ko.
Mm,
What I would tell that person is chill,
mm.
relax, don't be in a panic mode, and
Neutral. Yeah.
allow nature to take its course because in the end, it's going to be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. As especially as long as you take action. Because for me, you spoke to me saying that because I'm highly emotional, and I'm turning. I would have turned 30 by the time this comes out. Whew. You know, so
Nice.
thank you. You know, like it took me that long. I mean, actually, it's a power that I realize that I have, being empathetic, but also too, I'm so thankful that I've learned to I guess meditating, in layman's terms, to really neutralize the feelings and to just like what is in the bare minimum of all of this, and how do I operate from there? And then when I get to that place, I just do it. Before I lose courage, I just do it. You know?
Oh, of course, in life there will be moments when you're weak. There will be moments when you feel like a conqueror.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because life is just like the internet. It's fluctuating. It can be intermittent, but
Hmm.
then you just have to be welcoming and always that allow things to unfold because there's a reason why you were like that at that very moment because it
Hmm.
has to be you have to take this direction, you have to take this direction that way. And there's always something I believe in. If it comes easily, then it's for you. If you really have a hard time trying to achieve it, whatever you do, it's not coming to you, then just be welcoming.
Hmm.
And just remember that when a door closes, a roof deck opens.
Yeah, I agree. That's something that I've being a content creator, being a artist I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday. I was like, it took me that long, but thankfully that long to feel comfortable saying I'm an artist. You know, like even though that's what I did it for a very long time. I felt I didn't feel deserving, and then also I felt like I didn't feel like a real one. Like whenever I would say it, I felt like I was like an imposter. You know, like the imposter syndrome or whatever. You know, so it took me that long to be comfortable saying I'm an artist. And you know why I feel comfortable now? It's because I look at my body of work. I'm like, yeah, it's what I do. You know, I think just going back to the basics of like why am I an artist? It's because it's the skill that I practice.
It took you so long to realize that you're an artist, Adrian. You had it in you since you were a kid. Like when I was a child, I knew I was an artist. My first medium, for example, my first medium in doing art is the air. Why the air? I'm
Mm.
lying down and I'm dribbling on the air. And when I scribble on the air, the image remains. If I do this circle like that, my mind can see the circle like that, even if it's in the air. So I knew at a young age I'm an artist. So
Hmm.
I guess it took you a long time to realize the person that you are.
To accept. I think that's what
Yeah.
it is. I think
Yes.
I've always known, but it took me longer to accept. You
And
know, because of
acknowledge.
acknowledge and yeah, I mean that's just where that is. And you know, that's why I'm so glad, you know, that I'm just able to simply having a casually seeming conversation with the beauty queen herself, Maria Isabel Lopez. Yeah, thank you again. So we're actually gonna jump back to what I call the icebreaker questions because I saw some more because we saw more questions to
Okay.
more questions to ask. Like I mean, there's still so much to know, but we're gonna do a new segment on my podcast called. Actually, I'm not sure if it has a name, but what I will have her do is actually Google herself and let's see what's the first thing that comes up.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, just kidding. I'll Google it. Just kidding. No, I'll Google it
You
because I have the
Google it
phone.
and then you tell
Yes,
me. Okay.
yes. I'll ask you, and I'll ask you for explanation from a Facebook post article. The Savage Queen, Maria Isabel Lopez, pageant royalties, and it actually oh yeah, this is actually where I got the information earlier, where you fought for your title. Yeah,
Savage.
from this post.
Savage.
Yes. What are your thoughts on that? The Savage Queen.
Savage means uncivilized. Uh, uh, Savage.
At least dictionary terms.
Yes.
Yes.
Uncivilized. Wild. Uh, I wouldn't say that I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm uncivilized, but to a certain extent, when you say you're uncivilized queen, I guess because beauty queens now are like um, are like they groom the beauty queens now. They give you lessons in walking. They teach you how to walk. They teach you to, even they came up with tsunami walk or whatever kind of walk. The beauty queens now are being groomed on so many areas of being a beauty queen.
Of
And now,
perfection.
yes, beauty queens now are also being groomed with Q&A. They give them so many questions on the Q&A, possible questions on Q&A, and
Mhm.
they're given, a lot of them are answering generic answers,
Mm.
generic questions, generic answers. I would say that uncivilized, I guess, because during my time, beauty queens don't have that kind of training. We don't have, like, training on the gym. We don't have trainings on Q&A. You have to be spontaneous and just be expressive who you are. And I would say when you're savage or like wild, I would say you're organic. you
Mhm.
you did not go through like so many tutorials. It's
Yes.
like you're parang hindi aral.
Yes.
How would you describe it na hindi aral, for the sake of those non-Filipino speakers? um you didn't go through training, you didn't go through education, or like, they did give you a ton of, like, our past winners. They really focus their energy on the Q&As. So that
Yeah.
what kind of answers will you talk like, you had so many advocacies. This beauty queen will talk about, she has like concern for like the poor, the indigenous, or women's rights. But if you like really check their souls, what have they done in their life that gave them this awareness? Like,
Mm,
if you're gonna ask me, I mean, I've been a women's rights advocate. I've been with Gabriela for decades. I mean, since the first LGBT, the first gay
yes.
was murdered in Subic Bay by
Mm-hmm.
this Hans Corporal Lance Smith. I was there in the rallies. I
Mm,
was visible. I was fighting for this maid that they were gonna kill because she was a drug courier. I mean, this is like being organic. I did not like learn this on the magazine. I was there when
mm-hmm.
I'm wearing this indigenous necklace because it was given to me by the actual Lumad queen, Lumad
Mm.
warrior herself. I line produced her film because I love her life. This is what
Wow.
I mean by savage. Okay, savage, yes, but my heart is for these people. I knew about this because I wasn't educated. I didn't have to go through tutorials to talk about advocacies on violence against children, the LGBT communities. It's my personal experience. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fine. I love being called Savage Beauty Queen. I
Yes.
welcome that.
Yes. Thank you, first of all. And second, I think bringing it back to maybe the non
Business,
dictionary.
the
N-
gossips.
no. Actually, kasi ano, nowadays, at least now, when someone calls you savage, it's a compliment.
I
Like,
know. I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
savage. Like, what's her name? I forgot her name. Oh, the rapper, that song Savage. I'm savage. Sassy, bougie, classy. That it does describe someone that is that describes yourself, someone who is empowered, someone who is a badass, someone who's not afraid to speak what's on their mind and also fight for it. And I get the feeling that that was under this title on Facebook, the article that we found. I think it was probably under that context, the Savage Queen. Because
I
yeah.
remember when I was a newly crowned beauty queen, what are the first things they told me? They told me don't wear plunging necklines. Don't They told me not to wear sexy clothes. That's like, changing me, transforming who I am. And
Mm.
then every time I have interviews, there's always like some staff next to me trying to monitor what I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Yeah, so these things, if you restrain an animal, what happens? They become more wild. They become,
gigil.
yes, yes. So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, so it really like felt like they were trying to jail me, put me in a box. Uh,
Mhm.
of course, I'm always grateful that being a beauty queen opened doors for me, but the experiences I had as a beauty queen is not like the how other beauty queens would talk about it. They probably like being watched, so they will be taught what to say, but not me. It's just like I resent them, like, telling me what to do, what to wear, what to say. Yeah, that's the savage in me.
Yes. We love that. And I think, and that's why I truly believe that that's why you're so iconic. 40 years later, people like so clearly not only remember you as an actress, because that's what you're doing now, but still very much a beauty queen. And that was a long time ago, too. 40 years. If you think about it, so many people have come and go. And even now, maybe within the last couple of years, the names have become more, prominent in the fact that you will be forever a household name. There you go. You know what I mean? Because you like stood your ground, definitely a strong person. And I think for anyone that's watching, including myself, I'm like I mean I'm hosting, but I'm like having an out of body experience of like like I'm learning.
I like
I'm
that.
I'm learning that it's really like yes, life is scary, especially now with the pandemic, but it's really like what you make it out to be that ends up being your dreams, and if you fight for them, then
You mentioned life is scary, but I would say that it's good to have fears because
yes.
fear can save your life.
Oh yes, it's a survival skill. It is a survival skill that we have as humans, yeah, human beings, like survival. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that is. I mean, I had other questions for my, icebreakers, but I think in this case, a lot of it they can just Google because you are prominent, you are iconic. So I'm actually gonna go straight to the main interview. Well, we never got a main interview.
Wow,
Okay.
we're not even, we're just in the
I, mean,
introduction.
I know. Kailangan latag needed to lay out the foundations of what we're going to be talking about. So my first question for you is, who is Maria Isabel?
Maria Isabel Lopez is woman with many compartments. There's Maria Isabel Lopez, the artist, Maria Isabel Lopez, the actress, Maria Isabel Lopez, the mother, the ex-wife, the wife, the friend, the creative person. Uh, I would say I'm fearless, but I told you earlier, it's good to have fear because it can save you. Uh, I have so many creative pursuits, so many joys, like culinary arts. Like um, I would say that I mean I've cooked. I mean I'm good with international cooking, being an ex-wife to a Japanese.
Mm.
So cooking is an art form. Baking is another art form, and um, putting my own makeup, designing clothes. That was my first job.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like, so to put it simply, uh, Maria
Maria
Isabel
Isabel
Lopez
Lopez is
is a
Maria
box with
Isabel
many
Lopez.
compartments.
Or
Yeah.
other words, who's the I was listening to shout out to kay Directo Net. Hadaw
Uh,
ne. Their podcast si Direct JP Habak.
uh,
Um
Shout out
uh,
to who?
Shout out sa kanila for their walang kwentang podcast. It is hilarious.
Oh,
If you haven't listened to it, Tita, you should. It's really funny.
walang
Talagang
kwentang
kengkoy na
podcast.
kengkoy lang sila, but they
Yeah.
definitely talk about all important things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll love it. What did I mention that I blank? Oh no, because they one of the episodes that I recently listened to, Anna, they like, I'm sure you remember this. Parang there was a singer back then who just like mayaman. I think she just randomly came out with an album and she would like host it. Anna Davis. Ano ba pangalan niya?
And
Um,
so she came up with her own record.
yes, and when they would ask her why they should even give her a chance, she would say her name is her name. As an explanation. So in your case, Maria Isabel Lopez is Maria Isabel Lopez.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we meet? Which is my next question.
Oh, we met in the San Diego Film Festival.
Shout
And
out.
Adrian, you always come out so strong
Ay.
because you're an artist. You dress up like an artist, and you meet so many people in the opening of that film festival, but only very few people I can keep and retain in my memory, and you're one of them.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
come out so strong. That's why I said you're in for bigger things.
Yes, and in that context, because I was texting her, I said, please take me back with you to the Philippines. I will be your PA, your production, your personal assistant, alalay, alilay.
No, you're in for greater things.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll keep
Balik.
watching you. I'll keep watching you.
Thank you. Talagang maraming salamat sa suporta for the love, madam, which is also an endearment way of like expressing my respect. Because what else do you call a beauty queen besides a beauty queen? So actually, from my experience, so when sila Ate Emma, pati si Direk, Kuya Benito of San Diego Filipino Cinema. When they said you guys were coming, and I was one of the volunteers.
Mhm.
So when they said you were coming, I was like, oh. Especially too with your daughter Mara
Mara.
Lopez,
Yeah.
her recent television role in The Killer Bride. I hated that character.
Oh, she's
She's
doing a
great though.
film now. She's in Manila now. She's doing a film.
Shooting.
It's an international film, and it's with Jake Cuenca and another actor. It's about Marawi. And you have to interview her on your podcast
Oh yes,
because
I
she has a
will.
lot to talk about. That
Oh
film.
yes, please. Just
Yeah.
text her. Just text her.
Yeah, you can have her anytime. I'm
My
gonna tell
connection.
her.
Sure.
She's gonna be back here next week, and I will let you know.
Yes. Actually, speaking of filming, shake, earthquake, sorry. Speaking of current projects, actually, you're also working on something. Do you want to share that with us?
Oh yes. After the pandemic, I wasn't able to do television work because there's a standstill.
Pati
ABS-CBN.
nagtago kayo sa farm nyo. Char.
Yes, na-shut down ng current administration.
Yes.
Ni
Oh, yeah.
Duterte ang
Oh yeah,
ABS-CBN.
it's going on 2 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Grabe. That's why, personally, I hope that there will not be any carry on of this current administration because we want ABS-CBN to reopen. So
That's
we
why
need
vote
a new
people.
a new
Yes.
president na hindi linked sa current administration.
Yes, that's why
Oh my God,
vote,
yes.
y'all. Vote in the
Yeah.
Philippines. Vote
Yes.
smartly.
So the only way to pull this off is ABS-CBN went on a digital platform. Of course, this only happens in the Philippines. They're not on the mainstream channel. But if you go here in the US, we still have TFC around the world.
Oh yes.
So I just started a new TV series with them. It's called Love in 40 Days. And it's like, it features the love team, the current love team of Loisa Andalio and Ronnie Alonte. They call it Loini. They have Katniel, they have Loini. So now this is about a person who dies. And when you die, you just kind of roam planet
Yes.
Earth.
That's what I was
And you're
thinking.
given
40
like
days.
40 days to settle the things you need to settle, to find answers, and to like be able to reach out to your loved ones. So that's how the theme is. And I'm playing like the mother of the lead actress because the mother of the actress is already dead in the story. I'm playing like her mother. We're trying like to solve a crime on how she died, and she in the process is trying to reach out to us. So
Wow.
it's like there's a little bit of action, a little bit of drama. And I'd like to mention my co-stars besides the Loini Love team. I have like my lead Bison, Janice de Belen.
Oh.
I have Roy Alvarez and the PBB youngsters, Chi Filomeno, Renshi de Guzman, and many others. So
Wow.
we're doing part 2 now. It's a lock-in taping. I'm going back to Manila soon. So it's a lock-in taping. And I think by the time that this podcast will be
March,
aired,
last week of
yes,
March.
it's probably
Yep.
gonna be in the spring because we're still like working on it.
Mhm.
So it's good to be back, and I also have a couple of like offers. At my age, there's still some sexy offers. Like I was offered to do this mini series called Macho Man, and I was given 2 roles to choose from. One is that of
the macho man himself.
Macho Man. It's about male prostitutes.
Oh.
Male prostitutes, thank God, sila naman ngayon.
Oh yes.
Sila naman ngayon ang mina-market because it used to be like the female figure being sold like a commodity. So
Yeah.
ngayon, at least medyo meron ng may equality of the sexes. Lalaki naman ang may
Yes, equal
commodity.
opportunity.
Yes. So I was given the choice to play either the Mama San or the Sugar Mommy. Yeah.
Which are you allowed? Did you do it already or no?
Well, the producers had the toss coin, so the producers chose me to play the Sugar Mommy because they say the role is more pivotal. So in other words, there's going to be some sexy scenes. Imagine at 64 years old, I still
yes,
have
we
to like
love that.
cannot run away from the sexy image.
Yeah. Actually, the word sexy is something that we've, it took me like so long to ask this question, to warm up. But where do you feel like because I mean that is the thing that people like immediately think when they hear Maria Isabel Lopez. Besides, beauty queen, is the word sexy. What are your thoughts on that, and where do you feel like that came from?
Um, Even before I became a celebrity, uh,
Mm-hmm.
people would always like think I'm sexy. I don't know. It's something like maybe because I'm comfortable with my skin. Like I don't
Confident.
mind like wearing sexy clothes. Like I remember when I was a non-celebrity yet, and I would walk the streets of Metro Manila. People would call me Techi. You know Techi Agbayani, the first Filipina to model on Playboy. They will
Mm.
call me Techi, Techi. They think I look like her. So what I do in return is I look back and I wave. Like it's me. But it's not
Yeah,
me.
flip.
They just think it's me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think sexy is because it's something that's contagious. And
Mm-hmm.
like it's just like an animal that you have like certain hormones, your glands, it can easily be smelled by somebody.
Ayun
Not
na.
not necessarily the
Yes.
opposite sex. Para bang may naaamoy sila na you release that in your glands. At something
May
about the word
may
sexy.
yes, actually may naamoy nga rin ako dito sa the other side of my screen over here.
Baka pusa.
Rar. Actually, aso ko natutulog dito.
Oh, that's
Bagong
nice.
ligo. Char, bagong ligo
Oh,
kagabi.
nice. What kind of dog?
I actually hindi ko alam yung breed niya pero light brown, fluffy, malaki actually. I think she's like maybe
Mix.
almost 10 pound. Yes, long snout. Yes. Yeah. Rehome siya kasi si Mickey. Mickey,
Oh, that's
babae.
nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah, pero
wonderful.
char biro lang.
Yeah.
So for I guess in the context of you describing what sexy is, if there's anything you could say to our viewers tuning in general, what can you say about maybe the stigma still that we have sometimes? Because I'm sure it's not like 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's so much more common now. But what are your thoughts when or what do you have to say when people look down on someone that is or like still have that limiting belief that when someone calls someone sexy that it's not empowering.
What are my thoughts on people? They think that sexy women are like shallow
Hmm.
or like um
That notion, that still that perception of you
uh
know yeah.
uh you know there's sexuality has so many faces.
Oh yes.
I do remember when
Me
I was yeah when
different
I was at
faces.
my prime. When I was at my prime,
Which
I was
one? Which
well, I
prime?
was like in my prime when I was like at the peak of me doing sexy films.
What year was that? For
I would say
context.
in the mid 80s, like
In your
in
20s?
the mid 80s. Yes, I was doing still sexy films. Like I'm already mid 20s, and my
Mm-hmm.
competitors are 16-year-old, like Lala Montelibano. They were like 15, 16, 17. They're all so young. And here I am pushing 30 already. I'm 26, 27. And when I have to like be when I have to the experience of working with them, I just like we're all sexy stars. We're all sexy stars. So pare-pareho kaming babae. Pare-pareho kami na did this robe for the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like I worked with Sarsi Emanuel in a film called Daughters of Eve. It's on Amazon, by the way, plugging.
Oh
And
yes.
when I look at myself, I see that it's not just the sexiness. I would see that there is so much depth in the character you're portraying. Now, how does it differ to the sexiness of Lala Montelibano or say Aya Medel or Emily Lauren?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would say na there's like the different image of sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
May sexuality na the woman, siguro, if you have sex with her once, that's it. I would
Mm-hmm.
say that my sexuality is different in such a way that if you have sex with me, You're not gonna want me one time. You're gonna want more of me. You're gonna want to do it over and over again.
Mm.
Na
Pang
hindi ka ma...
ano,
Yes.
panghabang buhay.
Why?
Coming from the savage queen
From the
herself.
savage
We
queen.
love it, savage
You're
queen.
gonna wanna do it with me forever and ever. Amen.
Madam, do you want to do how do we get that
Okay.
energy? Sure.
That energy. Oh, I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know. I just had that testosterone test, and I said my
You're just
testosterone is beyond the norm.
you're just born with it like Maybelline. Sabi ni Maybelline, she's born with it. Like you're
my
born with it.
my numbers, according to my gynecologist, you have to stop taking this medicine because I have DHEA for anti-aging because your testosterone level is beyond normal already. Yeah. So anyway, before we get into other topics, I just want to
Yes.
talk about my marriage and my
Yes,
family
please.
life. Okay.
Yes.
When I was at my prime, and my first film was shown at the experimental cinema of the Philippines.
Mm.
That was the Marcos way of diverting the minds of the Filipino people because there was a lot of political unrest. So they
Mhm.
came up with no censorship. In the 80s, all our sexy films have censorship. They cut it. No
Yeah.
classification, only censorship. So they put up the experimental cinema where they show films uncut. So when my
Mm.
film Isla, directed by the late Celso Ad Castillo, was screened there, I was invited to a symposium in UP Mass Communication. And there was a panelist of writers, journalists, filmmakers, a priest,
Wow.
and then the priest asked me this question. Isabel, because amidst all the controversy the film created, because I was the first Filipina to do frontal nudity on screen, for the
Mm.
record. The priest
Yeah.
asked me, who will be the man who will be proud to bring you to the altar? He asked me that. So it's a very judgmental question from a priest. Before I could answer, I was overwhelmed when all the UP students were raising their hands. They were all raising their hands and then I told the priest that don't worry, if I get married, you will be the first one to know. And I told you I had 3 engagements and I had 2 marriages. So
Mhm.
that's how marriageable I am. Despite all these immoral questions, this guardian of morals attacking me. And then now I'm in my second marriage, and I'm very proud to tell you that my husband Jonathan Melrod, he's a human rights lawyer, and
Yes.
he's been a counsel for people of color who were murdered by the police, and he's coming up
Mm.
with his book. It's called Fighting Times.
Ooh.
It's about his memoir on his life as a civil rights he's in the civil rights movement, and he's always been fighting for the plight of the laborers, being a labor leader for farm workers and organizers for those militants in the union. So his
Mhm.
book, Fighting Times, it's now ready to pre-order. So you go to his website, jonathanmelrod.com, for more information. And in the book, it has his FBI file, him being a pancreatic cancer survivor,
Wow.
and being with the anti-white supremacists. Like when he was young, he was one of those people who rallied against the Vietnam War.
Mm.
And my husband, I'm also proud to say, has represented like so many oppressed people. Like here in Sonoma County, there was like one Latino guy murdered by the police. His name's Andy Lopez. He's also like involved very much in these things, and this book is really timely because of
Yes.
so many things happening in the labor workforce because of their worst working conditions now. So for those people, I would like to invite you to go to his website,
Pre-order.
jonathanmelrod.com,
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
pre-order the book. And there's a discount if you pre-order, although the book will be officially launched in September this year. It's already
Okay.
available. And please follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Jonathan Melrod. And of course, follow me at Maria Isabel Lopez. No, at Beauty Queen Mill. MIL for Maria Isabel Lopez. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me that that's what we have. That's what we wanted to also plug into because actually my show it's been a minute though since it's been like that, but actually the premise of my show is really for people. It usually helps if they have something to promote.
Wow, how wonderful. Maybe in the future you can have a militant person like my husband.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
for the book. Yeah.
Is there a copy of
Yeah.
a book near you or
I'm gonna
no,
send
not
you the
yet?
details. I'm gonna send you details about the book. But it's about his life story, and
Hmm.
actually, how I was drawn to my husband when we were
Hmm.
just like first communicating. It's because he knows he knows that we know each other on Facebook, but I was aware of his militant rights. His
Wow.
activities, his advocacies, and his support for the indigenous people.
Hmm.
So we got more close because I told you I'm also an activist,
Yes.
and I'm very much concerned with what's happening with our government and the plight of the indigenous people. So that's how we clicked. We
Wow.
were like fighting the same battles.
Yeah. And you said that he's tuning in, right?
Of course. Yes, he's tuning in. JonathanMera.com. So I'm
Yes.
excited. And Adrian, I was wondering, did you ever come across writing your own book? Like, because you're an artist.
Actually, yes.
Mm.
Pero I actually wanted to do hypothetically I wanted to do something when I turned 30, but then I realized nah, maybe it's not the time and season yet. I think I still need a little bit more life experience,
Yeah.
but I've thought of it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I thought about that too. Like we have a couple of people who wrote their memoirs.
Especially for you though.
Yeah.
I mean truthfully speaking, you have more insights to offer than someone
Uh-huh.
like me at this point in time.
Yeah, kaya lang I'm just thinking, buhay pa sila, maraming maiiskandalo.
I oh
Buhay pa sila.
oh shoot, tell all. Sure.
Yeah, like Pilar Pilapil, she wrote her memoirs actually. And she
Hmm.
mentioned about having a relationship with Vice President Doy Laurel. And then
Wow.
she got sick with like venereal disease in that book. So I guess maybe when the time is right, I'm gonna do that also.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, it's always about the timing, like the when it
Mhm.
feels right. Because right
Yeah.
now, like the podcast, it's funny because earlier, I went on a little spiel about. I just feel I just recently became comfortable calling myself an artist, which actually is also to be true. That as I'm turning 30, most people would say, "Oh, you're older. You're this and that. You should be
You're
this.
not
You
old.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And so are you, but at the same time, I'm actually proud to say that I'm at the beginning stages of my artistry and it feels good. Like I feel like even though it's all over the place, I feel like this, like everything that I've done and worked hard for, it's finally here.
I
It's
know.
it, it's it's
And
it's 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 something it's close to being tangible. Like I'm so close, but I have to keep doing the work.
I know, and time goes by so quickly. You're already on season 3.
Yes,
And
season 3, 30.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's a gift to do something you love. Not everybody has the privilege to do what you love to do. And you're
Mhm.
there. Soul
Thank you.
supremacy is alive.
Thank you. Let's see. Keeping on time. Madam, I just have a couple more questions if that's
Okay,
okay.
that's fine.
So, yes, okay, so you actually talked about thankfully you talked about your love life as of now in this season.
Uh-huh.
And everything that you've done. Thank you for sharing. What can we look forward? I mean, in the greater scheme of things, like besides like what can we look forward from you project wise and all that stuff, Keme do. But what like who I guess the question that I want to ask is who are you now? Um like where are you now in time and space in the pandemic? Like what can we look forward from you? Any new passions, new skills, new interests that
Um,
you are?
right now I'm dwelling on two art forms.
Mm.
I have like a couple of commissioned works for my mosaic art. One of which is
Yes, yeah,
here.
you never
Uh,
mentioned that yet.
yes, This is like one of my mosaic works. I use glass. It's a combination of the traditional Byzantine mosaic art, the
Mhm.
same kind of material you see in the cathedrals of San Marco in Venice, and
Wow.
then I combine them with acrylic on canvas. So it's like mosaic art within a canvas, and I do glass using natural stones and found objects, found materials like shells, corals, putting them together like these trees here. This is like one of my artworks, and I do exhibits almost once a year. And this past 2021, I wasn't able to do any art show because I got loaded with commissioned works. So my works are mostly in scattered all over United States, and some of my ecclesiastical art, like I would make
Yes.
mosaic arts of crucifix, Madonna and Child. They're like in a church in Michigan, and right now I'm finishing a commissioned work which is the face of Jesus Christ. I'll send you the photo later when it's
Oh.
done. It's about the portrait of Jesus Christ, the Divine Mercy. So right now I'm finishing a couple of commissioned works, and in between taping, when I do my you're in a lock-in taping. In other words, you go to the hotel, you
Mhm.
only do your scenes in a soap opera. They bring you back. You have rest days in between. I had time to pursue my art. So I would say I'm the only actress in the teleserie that brings art materials and is doing like two art forms, and none suffer.
Yes.
When I do my art, my paintings or my mosaics, the actor's job will not suffer. The intensity is the same, and vice versa. So I would
Yeah.
say I'm the only actress doing that. And one of my plan is to come up with another art exhibit and focusing on ecclesiastical art,
Wow.
because mosaic art, it's the origin of this is thousands of years ago in the Byzantine period. The churches all over Europe, you'll find them. So
Mhm.
I combine stained glass and mosaic. So this time, I in my past art exhibits, I do mostly nudes because I'm fascinated by the
Yes.
female form, the human body. So this
Yeah.
time, I would like to focus more on like ecclesiastical art,
Mhm.
mosaics of angels, of like spirits, symbols of the cross, the Star of David, like spiritual symbols. Yeah, those are the concepts I'm planning to do, and of course, that's gonna be in for another podcast with you
Yes,
when I'm ready for that.
another plug. You know, actually, as you were sharing that, I realized, there's no comparison to be made. But if there were to be one, you are the original heart evangelista in that aspect of not only, does she, you know what I mean? She's like very beautiful, but then she also has her artistry, fine
Mhm.
arts, like. I'm sure
Yeah,
with her painting her like designer
I
bags
know,
and
I know.
just for fun, you
Actually,
know.
Heart Evangelista and Cheese also bought one of my earlier works in Mosaic.
Hi, Heart.
Yes, and
Hello.
one thing with Heart, she constantly reinvents herself. I think as
Yes.
an artist, that's the way to go.
Yes.
Right now, we're doing this, and then later on, you kind of like evolve, and that's how I see you, Adrian. You constantly evolve, you constantly grow, and there's no stopping an artist because
Yeah.
inside you there's this energy that has to be unleashed.
Yes. That
It's got to be
hormones
released.
char.
Otherwise,
Savage.
it's gonna drive us crazy.
Crazy. Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out because I recently was just thinking to myself, like, why? I mean, you're right. It is really about just the natural process of evolving to become the next best person, and which is actually going to lead to my last question for the main interview as I ask you the closing question. I know that was a little confusing. There's a closing question, but there is one more question that I want to ask you before then. And
Go.
yes, and you actually just brought it up. So for someone who's been in the industry for more than 40 years now,
Wow,
for
14
quite a
years.
very long
Yeah.
time, and for it to have been very fruitful, very colorful, literally like the one over here up there. Um, what are your thoughts? I mean, not just your thoughts, but advices you can give to someone on how they can, stay in the industry for as long as they can. And I know you just talked about reinvention, you know.
Mm. Oh, okay. Talking about reinvention, you start as a sexy actress, and it's a classic path to fame and popularity.
Mhm.
But you're not gonna be doing that forever because you're gonna be old. You're gonna have bulges in your stomach. You're gonna have you're gonna put on weight. You're gonna get wrinkles. So when you're like single and sexy, you do sexy films. When you become a mother, you do mother roles. I have done a
Mhm.
couple of mother roles. I played like mother to Daniel Padilla in Barcelona and many other actors. And
Yeah. I
then,
was gonna say that you've actually like also too with your television roles at least.
yeah,
Like I think a lot of the roles that have like stuck to
yeah,
me were your mother roles.
I used to play young children, mother to young children. As I get older, I'm playing mother to Jericho Rosales. Because you're getting old, and then as you get older, you play the roles of like 50s. Like I've done sugar mommy roles. I've done roles of like a grandma,
I
and I became mother to Alice Dixon. Alice Dixon is
yes,
Alice is in her 50s and I'm 64. I was in my
you guys are
I was
sisters.
like, in my late 50s, and some people will say, "Why are you mother to Alice Dixon when I'm actually 60 and Alice is in her 50s?" I said, "That's okay. I'm just doing a role."
And also
So,
too grateful for work. Grateful for work, diba?
yeah. But the good thing is, when you look well and young and fit, of course, I want to give credit to Abby Skincare Clinic. They take care of my anti-aging regimen,
Yes,
like the
plug.
Botox. Like I would do like Photona Laser 4D. I would do Aerolase, everything to make my skin younger. You increase. It's not just the vanity. It's more like your range of motion, your age, the range of your career. You can play 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 because you take care of your skin, and not just your skin, your body. So once again, thank you to Dom Paklibar and Abby Paklibar of Abby Skincare Clinic, because they really make me look younger and I could play different roles.
I'm curious to see, since you've been in the industry now for over 40 years and looks like you are nowhere near to stopping, what are some of your tips and advices to having a longevity, long career?
Hmm. Of course, the talent is a given. I would say that when you have controversies every now and then, it adds up to being a newsmaker. No matter how good or bad the publicity is, you're still newsworthy. So it's very important. Uh, but I would say I would attribute a lot of my longevity secrets to having a fit body, a healthy mind, and in these days of COVID, you have to be well. You have to be religiously working out, because not just for vanity, but for the immune system. I stay away from the sun. It's because I don't like to have wrinkles. How can I play sugar mommy at 50 or 40 or 30, if I have so much wrinkles in my face? And I'd like to mention that a lot of the youthfulness look I have is the skincare. Besides staying away from the sun, I would do Botox regularly on the forehead so that you don't have a lot of frown lines. And I would do skincare, like I do. I'm fortunate to have Abby Skin Clinic. They have like branches in Concord, San Francisco, and Union City. And Don Paklibar is the one like handling my face. I've done like the Photona 4D laser. That's what Kim Kardashian does, and it
Yes, Kim
it
K.
manages the skin on all areas. And they start like from inside the mouth. That's why it's called Photona 4D. It's a laser treatment. And I also do Aerolase regularly. I do Ultera. Ultera is the one that uses sound waves. They say that these procedures are kind of expensive, but when you're in a career And I don't want to go through the knife, the plastic.
Illustrious career as yours.
Yes, you don't want to like go through the knife that's very evasive. So I go to this skincare clinic to address my skincare. Yeah, you always have to like look toned and tight. You know how it is when you're a beauty queen. People remember
Yes.
you like 40 years ago. My God,
And
I've
you
been in.
are, how old are you now? You are
I'm
60,
64 years old. Like,
64
yeah.
years
So if you want to
young.
like take off 20 years of your life, you really have to address this. Yeah.
Mm,
Of course, there's also a wide range of products that I use, like
yes.
stem cells. I take like the Abby's skin collagen because when you're older, you have less collagen in your skin. This protein, like the fine lines are more
Visible.
pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also need to start eating clean, not just like because you notice the
Taking
younger
notes.
population. The younger population now are like a lot of them
Savages.
are
Char.
yeah a lot of people are like they because of the fast food generation they're like doing more
Guilty.
damage to their liver and they kind of like get sick earlier. They get diabetes early in life, so you gotta eat well, eat clean, eat raw as much as possible, and eat a balance of protein. Choose the good protein, like the red meat is only once in a while. Yeah.
Mm,
So I would say it's if you want to stay long in the industry, it's not just the talent, the acting. It's not like how you establish yourself in the industry, but it's also how you look. You know,
yes.
you have to look
Yeah.
well because you're always facing thousands of people. When you're on the camera, you face people around the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are the public figure. You are the face of your brand. And where can
It's
people, oh, I'm sorry.
where can people what?
Oh, where can people, Dr. What was the
Oh,
name?
yes. Don Paclibar and Abby Paclibar, they're located in Concord, California, Union City, and in San Francisco. And just look for Abby Skin Clinic. It's all over the internet. And they have like, they're also like featured in the Filipino channel regularly. So don't miss the services of these people because they're not just like really good at what they're doing. They're also very good people and very good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of Dr. Abby and their
When you come to San Francisco, I'm gonna take you there.
oh
I'm gonna let you go
my
through
gosh.
their I'm gonna let you go through their the regiments. I'm gonna do an X deal for you, and maybe you can interview them because she's really a
Yes.
very
I want to
interesting
vlog too.
woman.
Vlog. Oh,
Yes,
artista for a day, Char.
yes, I want them to do a thorough skincare, lahat ng pagawa mo anti-aging, wellness, even like, to like activate the enzymes of your body to release those stored fats. Papagawa ko yan for you. Tapos maybe you can have them over in your
Yes.
podcast. So anyway, when you're older, you play like grandmother roles. And that's okay.
Yes.
But there's the irony of it. There's the irony of it.
Go.
When I did Kinatay, it's the film that took me to the red carpet of Cannes Film Festival by Brillante Mendoza.
Okay.
Have you
That's
seen
where
that film?
I haven't seen the film, but I did see pictures. You and Mara, right?
No, it's me and Coco Martin. Mara wasn't there. Kinatay is with Coco Martin.
Oh wait, just kidding. That's a different red carpet. Never
Yes,
mind. I'm kidding.
this is like it won Best Director for the Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was in 2011.
Okay.
In Kinatay, I was already 50 plus and I still had like breast exposure. I still have like I was being raped before they killed me and chopped me to pieces in that film.
Oh, hence kinatay, which means to
Yes, yeah.
chop.
Yeah, uh-huh. And after that, I still like did, like I told you, I was still being offered to do sexy roles. I still did a film Swipe. It's about online dating. So I still have like love scenes, like coming from
Yeah.
the door, rolling into the kitchen, going to the bedroom. And I was thinking like you transitioned already to mother roles. You're already a mother. You're already like grandmother age. 64 is a grandmother's age. And I'm still offered to play a sugar mommy with a scene in a bathtub, having a
Mhm.
bubble bath with a male prostitute.
Mhm.
So I would say that You continue to reinvent yourself, but once the image is established, it's good to go back and still continue what you used to do in your younger years.
I love that.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, you know too. The thing that I want to say about that is, I think because I grew up TFC. Hello, the Filipino channel. I definitely grew up TFC, so I've like seen a lot of people like grow up and transition. I think you're definitely one person. Well, one person. You're definitely one that's you're a blank canvas. Like I think now that I think about it, I think you're literally an artist. You're a chameleon, because you like what you mentioned it. You played grandmother role, nanay roles, mother roles. You've played
Mhm. I
roles.
became mother to so many sexy stars. Mother to
Yeah.
Ines Federacion, Aya Midel, mother to so many. Yeah.
Yes, while also holding on to your own identity and not getting lost to the identity of the roles that you're maybe some people feel like they're maybe pigeonholed to. But I
Mhm.
think for you, what's been amazing is you've been able to like embrace all of these different chapters and yeah, I'm gonna take them, but you'll also still see me. Maria Isabel
Yeah.
Lopez in the role, you know?
And yeah, it's so funny that the time gap. I got married late. I had my daughter Mara when I was like in my early 30s.
Oh wow.
So when Mara was a young girl in school, she would sometimes go home crying and tell me, "Ma, you know what? My classmates said you're a bold star." So Mara was already in school, and the generation of these children, their parents are probably watching my films or knows about my image, so their children, it's being passed on. So Mara knew I was a bold star when she was a young girl. Let's
Mhm.
fast forward to when Mara was a college student in De La Salle in her film class. She had a film class, and they showed one of my sexy film. It's called Hubo sa Dilim by Tata Esteban. And the classic photo in the film they analyzed was me being stabbed by a samurai sword in my vagina.
Yes.
And then my daughter said, "Oh my God, that's my mom's film." So they were like discussing it in her film class. It's like a classic film.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by like time flies, and this thing Mara could witness it in her school. They even discussed kinatay in that class, and Mara was a college student. So what I'm saying is, through different generations, people are getting exposed in filmmaking classes. Not just now, but in the years to come. I'll probably be dead, and they will still be discussing the evolution of Filipino films in
Yes.
every filmmaking classroom in the country. So somehow I'm privileged to be able to do that contribution, no matter how savage it may sound or it
Mhm.
may seem. So at least you can like still be in touch with the younger generation, with the
Yeah.
millennials. Yeah,
The Gen Zs.
the Gen
Woo, my
Zs.
lighting. Yeah, I mean, your like Savage Queen became source material.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, I want to mention that there's a book in the Philippines written by Boy Villasanta. It's called Sex Cinema or Sex in Philippine Cinema. It's already in the book too. And on that book, I wrote the introduction. Yeah, I had the privilege to do the introduction of that book. So it's out now in the market. I'd like to congratulate Boy Villasanta for coming up with this book, Sex Cinema,
Wow.
Sex in Philippine Cinema in the Pandemic. Yeah, it's already part two.
Yes.
So, in other words, whatever contributions I've done, I mean, they're there to stay. It's part of history. It will always be remembered that I was a rebel beauty queen because I was the
Rebel with a
first.
cause
Yeah, I was the
and
first
for a
one
cause.
to do frontal nudity in the cinema of the Philippines, and the first beauty queen to ever disrobe in front of the cameras. Uh,
Yeah.
So those things will forever be remembered. Although I'm not the first one to do sexy scenes, like Gloria Diaz did the wet look in her film Pinakamagandang Hayop sa Balat ng Lupa. So Elizabeth
What
Oropesa
a
and Gloria
title.
Diaz, yes, it's one of those classic films where Gloria Diaz, our first Miss Universe, was braless and see-through with a wet look. They call it wet look. So I outdid that by doing the
Mhm.
frontal nudity. Because
Yeah,
in the
wow.
film Isla, I had underwater scenes in the nude like that.
Yeah. Congratulations on 40 years, celebrating 40 years, showbiz, celebrating 40 years of what seems to really be a beautiful career. And I know there are some questions that I didn't get to ask you, but hopefully I get to ask you in person when we, next time see each other. I'll just ask you in person. But can you please plug anything, any projects, the TV show Love in 40 Days? Please promote your husband, your partner's book again. Please share.
Okay, once again, Love in 40 Days, directed by Manny Palo and Jojo Sagin. It's for ABS-CBN Kapamilya. It's going to be on TFC, starring the love team of Loisa Andalio and Ronnie Alonte, also known as Loini. And it's going to be the newest teleserye now in TFC. So watch for it. And of course, please visit my website if you want to see more of my works as a mosaic artist. It's called www.mariaisabellopezart.com, and it's also on Facebook, Maria Isabel Lopez Mosaic Artist. And of course, I'm proud that my husband's memoir, his upcoming book, Fighting Times, published by PM Press. It's one of the more progressive press companies we have. It's already available for pre-order on his website, www.jonathanmelro.com. And it talks about his life as an organizer in the union. It talks about his life when he was like telling workers to go and join the Ku Klux Klan rallies way back. And because my husband has always been very active in the civil rights movement. And he was also like, it's a very interesting story. He was once bodyguard of the Black Panther. Imagine that. I mean, his experiences. And as a human rights lawyer, he's always represented people of color who were murdered by the police. So it talks about police brutality. So it's very timely. So once again, Fighting Times by Jonathan Melrod, and pre-order now and published to you by PM Press. And
Yes.
of course, keep tuning in to the podcast of Adrian Pangilinan here on Soul Supremacy, and follow him on Instagram at Adrian Pangilinan at Soul Supremacy.
Uy, madam, maraming salamat sa
Ako
spiel.
nag-vlogging for you.
I know. So we made it to the end of the episode. So before I let you go, I want to ask you my closing question, which is, and I think you've like touched up on it several times throughout the interview in different ways, but what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
I would like to leave behind that as a woman, it is so important to express yourself and do not be confined by pressures of society, expectations of people, because whether you do something good, you do something beautiful, or something bad, you will be judged anyway. But the freedom to be who you are is such a celebration of life.
Wow, we made it to the end of the episode,
Yes!
y'all. Woo! Like in the beginning, when I introed her, she was clapping already. But Miss Maria Isabel Lopez, thank you so much again for being here. Thank you for being our season 3 opener. How do you feel?
Wow! Oh, it's a privilege to be your opener for your season 3, and congratulations. More to come, many more years, Adrian. I told you I could see so much potential in this podcast. many more years to come. And it's great that I made it.
Yeah, thank you. We definitely are. Season 3 definitely can't top the 40 years that we are officially celebrating with this season premiere. 40 years again of
Being a beauty
Maria is,
queen
yes, being a beauty
actress.
queen actress. Yes, so congratulations again, and y'all, we made it to the end of the episode, and this is Soul Supremacy, where we talked about all things unapologetic, all things passion, any pursuit of, and maraming salamat ulit, Madam. And we'll see you at the next episode. Bye!
Pleasure.
Yes. This podcast show is a product of Studio Penguino. For more information about advertising, please visit www.adrianpenguino.com.